No data. Yeah. Okay, looks like it's working now. Good. Mm. Reflection, we don't donate to charity now. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, so cute. Hmm. Okay, never mind. Okay, what are they supposed to do anyways? Like, tool specific. Select, what is the subtool called? Auto select. No, it is actually qualifier settings. Select, auto select. Oh, yeah. No, actually. Oh, but I forgot how to actually set my auto key modifier settings. No way. Uh, let's continue. So, mm, let me turn on something in the meantime. There was something I was supposed to watch, right? Hmm, where is it? Yeah, what is this, by the way?
haven't had an orthodox career, and I've wanted more than anything to have your respect. The first time I didn't feel it, but this time I feel it, and I can't deny the fact that you like me. Right now, you like me.
Well, I don't know people. I get afraid of people sometimes. It's a whole nother life that I haven't really experienced that. Like friendship is a thing I'm just beginning to learn about.
The fact that you have won the BMF title is so appropriate. The fact that you stood there with 10 seconds to go and pointed at the center of the octagon and put Justin Gaethje away. It's one of the most special performances I've ever seen in my life.
I gotta say, I'm him. I'm him, guys. Guys, there's the El Matador. He is running away from the moon.
I'm him. Why is it that our generation brags by calling ourselves somebody else? You might hear this phrase when somebody kills it on the court, or passes a hard test in school, or lands a job with a fancy title. But what does it imply about our goals if success is expressed by the phrase, I'm him? Not I'm me, I'm him. Who? You have within you a violent desire to be more. You are not who you could be, and you're painfully aware of that fact, so somewhere along the line, probably at 2 a.m. after binge watching motivational edits and ego gooning to hustle porn, you decided you're not like everybody else. You were, as they say, built different. You told yourself, I will do whatever it takes to become exceptional at, well, that's not so important. What matters is that you become exceptional at it. You can decide exactly what it is later.
What's your ambition, Blaze?
Just to be instantly recognized.
But for what?
Famous for being famous.
Famous to be famous, but not necessarily for anything particular.
Exactly. Right? Just famous for being famous.
After all, it's not really about the sport or the entrepreneurship or the music or the academia. These things are not the destination. They are the vehicle. And the destination is what? It's your name in lights and the relief of knowing that you're so good they can't ignore you. Because it was never about being good. It was about not being ignored. But acknowledging that fact would mean admitting insecurity, and the greats you're inspired by aren't insecure, right? If you want to be one of the greats, you have to act like them, so you brush past the evidence of insecurity and tell yourself it's about the love of the game. Losing hurts more than winning feels good, but you don't let yourself think about that fact for long, otherwise you'll realize that you're not motivated by the joy of winning. You're not even motivated by the fear of losing, but by the fear of being a loser, of being a failure. It's a social identity thing. That's why winning just feels like relief and losing feels like a terminal diagnosis. Remember, you decided you're built different, so success merely maintains that ego, but failure is an existential threat to your entire sense of self. And by now, you've spent so many years tying your self-worth to your work that you can no longer tell them apart. This dream of yours has become a mountain, and the mountain is you. It's your own extraordinariness. And with each late night, each neglected relationship, each selfish decision, you are shoveling dirt onto this mountainous dream of yours. To other people, it looks impressive. After all, you'd have to be a god to build a whole mountain. But everyone's looking at what you built. Nobody is looking at the gigantic hole you dug to source the dirt that it's made of. What others will see as an act of creation was really just an act of displacement, of redistribution. You poured all your character stats into one attribute and pawned it off as growth. That's why you invest more into being respected than being respectable. No worries though. If you hide your fear of being a failure well enough, then you might convince them that it took courage to become this successful. But you'll know. You'll know that it wasn't courage that made you jump off that tall cliff into the water. You were just so terrified of the wasp that you jumped without even thinking it through. Why? Because you've never even asked yourself how you would broach the challenge of loving yourself if you were ordinary. Mediocrity, the fate of almost every human on Earth, and yet we have collectively transformed it into our generation's greatest boogeyman, the arrival of whom would signal all but a justification for suicide.
Are you guys familiar with Dateline? They voted him Personality of the Week 8 years ago.
Failure's not something. It's not an option. Somebody once said to me, "What happens if you don't fail?" Well, I won't know because I'll probably be dead trying.
Do your Sean Connery, you did. Do Sean.
Now, it might sound like I'm attacking ambition. I'm not. What I'm suggesting is that much of what passes for ambition is counterfeit. It's the fear of irrelevance, dressed up as heroism. Why else would a whole generation be chasing the same goals? That's statistically improbable. The solution here is not to wage war against ambition, or to tell people to settle for inauthentic office jobs just because they fit the mold. That's just the other side of the same fear. But when the culture reaches the point where satisfaction itself is viewed with contempt, maybe we have all gone mad. We don't need more hustle porn, because our generation is not at risk of being unambitious. We are at risk of suicide. And perhaps the incessant messaging that our value as humans is accurately reflected by our status, that the mere ordinary life is somehow shameful, is at least in part to blame. Hustlebots will tell you that they don't want to reach their deathbed and look back with regret. They will tell you that is why they work so hard. But the most common deathbed regret is, I wish I didn't work so hard. Still, once they're done watching this video, they will continue gulping down the motivational Kool-Aid as if that one stat doesn't undermine their entire project. Why? Because we were raised on this shit. Marty Supreme, Whiplash, Wolf of Wall Street, Peaky Blinders. We've been fed so much hustle porn that when we watch these tragic movies, we walk out of the cinema feeling inspired. The characters in these movies are not heroes. These movies are supposed to be warnings about the dark side of counterfeit ambition. But we are so afraid of fading into obscurity, so terrified of being forgotten, that even the cost of glory is painted gold.
I think being the greatest musician of the 20th century is anybody's idea of success.
Dying broke and drunk and full of heroin at the age of 34 is not exactly my idea of success.
I'd rather die drunk, broke at 34 and have people at a dinner table talk about me than live to be rich and sober at 90 and nobody remember who I was.
The hero's journey has turned inward, and we have made a monster of the so-called ordinary life.
I'm sure they'll make great school board presidents someday.
Oh, that's what this is all about? You think you're better than us?
Catch on quicker and model you in?
So for many of us, chasing greatness has become a kind of lifelong obsession. Obsession. This word used to describe a form of mental illness, but today it's a compliment. Because if we are obsessed, then maybe one day we will be great. And if we are great, then maybe we deserve to exist. That's that Mamba mentality, baby. Our generation is often criticized for being entitled, for believing we are special snowflakes, but I think this is bullshit. The problem is not that we think we are special, it's the exact opposite. The problem is that we are terrified that we are not. And the so-called evidence that we think we are special is just the things we do to cope with the fear that we don't matter. Think about it, we grew up with the internet. The world is bigger than it's ever been for any generation before us. A few generations ago, the world was essentially your town. You were one of about 100 people in your neighborhood. Of course you felt significant. But for Gen Z, the world really is the entire globe from the time we're toddlers overhearing Channel 4 news about the war in the Middle East. So of course we're existentially terrified of blending into the crowd. In other words, of not being special. On top of this, the attention economy has everyone screaming at the top of their lungs to be noticed. And all this noise raises the question, how will anyone hear me scream in a world this loud? Whether we notice it or not, I think our whole generation, our internet generation, has grown up with that question in the deepest parts of our souls. how will anyone hear us scream in a world this loud? That's why we craft identities that make us stick out. Which way, modern man? Dye your hair the most noticeable color available and get involved in activism as an excuse to use a megaphone? Or get on steroids at 15, learn how to do a crypto scam, and post 300 stories about making moves in silence? Anything to be noticed, to be different, to be him. Fundamentally, to be loved. It sounds soppy, but it's true. We pay a heavy price to acquire the love we feel we lack, but at the end of the night, we all have to go home to ourselves. So you better make sure you still recognize your reflection in the mirror. Otherwise, all your years of hustling and grinding will have achieved nothing other than rallying public approval for a person that you're not. And that is a life of regret. Not an ordinary life with meaningful relationships, because maybe the ones who sacrifice those relationships for the sake of their own greatness are not the ones who are great, but the ones who feel the biggest need to be.
I have a purpose. You don't. And if you think that's some sort of blessing, it's not. It puts me at a huge life disadvantage. It means I have an obligation to see a very specific thing through. And with that obligation comes sacrifice, okay? My life is the product of all the choices I've had to make. Your life is the product of, I don't even know what your life is the product of. You're just making it up as you go along. That's the kind of person you are. That's not the kind of person I am, okay? Because I want to be great.
And you're not.
I want to be one of the greats.
And I would stop you from doing that.
Yeah.
You're right, we should not be dating.
And that paints their success in a very different light. It's still success, yes, but in much the same way as a heroin addict finding a ton of heroin is success. It's almost always at the expense of growth. Why else would all the greats seem so small behind closed doors? Perhaps their relentless pursuit of greatness is itself a form of cope. To name just a few examples, John Lennon preached peace and love, but beat his first wife and largely abandoned his son Julian. Steve Jobs denied paternity of his daughter Lisa for years, parked in handicapped spots, cried and bullied employees to get his way, and outsourced to sweatshops to cut costs. Stanley Kubrick was legendarily abusive to actors. Kobe Bryant said that the cost of greatness is not being a good friend, son or nephew, and then cheated on his wife with a 19-year-old who reported him for rape. And of course, not every famous person lacks character. There are exceptions to the rule, but the very fact that they are exceptions is evidence of the rule. There's a reason why we have the phrase, "never meet your heroes." And the saddest part about all of this is that many of us have subscribed so wholeheartedly to this narcissistic picture of greatness that we even emulate the faults of our heroes in an attempt to get closer to them. Remember when the Steve Jobs biopic came out and bosses all over the world started being assholes to their employees because they thought it would make them more like Steve? They could tell us it's lonely at the top and we would beg for loneliness. This is a form of tunnel vision so extreme that it could pass for mental illness, only it's so common, so pervasive, that we fail to notice it, just as a fish fails to notice the water in which it swims. This is why the movie Whiplash was seen as inspiring by so many, when it was simply a character study of narcissism, and yet nobody, not even myself, batted an eye. No, I set the damn film as my lock screen. There are things in this world that are worth preserving, worth sacrificing for, and it will be a sign of a confident health when our own glory is no longer considered to be one of them. I'm writing this video as much as a note to self as to you, because I am very much one of the people I'm critiquing in this video. One of the most well-performing videos on my channel was essentially the opposite of this one. It was an ode to the pursuit of greatness. For years I wanted to be famous, to be great, and that desire was a symptom of my own immaturity. In other words, my desire for greatness was a thinly veiled attempt at distracting myself and others from my insecurities. It was incredibly motivating, of course, but when I got a small dose of what I was looking for, it did not fill me with the euphoria I had imagined. In reality, the approval of crowds didn't fill me with anything. It kind of felt like that scene in Kung Fu Panda when he finally gets the dragon scroll and, spoiler alert, it was empty. I had dreamt for years about how success would rewrite history and justify my existence and all of the suffering it contained, but when I finally opened the first installment of my oh-so-sought-after prize, there was simply nothing inside. Maybe bursts of excitement, sure, but nothing lasting, and even that excitement was just anticipation for a promised land that never arrived. Fame is flash paper. And before you say it, I know, a couple of well-performing YouTube videos is not fame, but it's the first step on that ladder, and it was enough to give me a sense of where it leads. So please, if you are someone who feels the need to be great, if you are someone who thought the movie Whiplash was inspiring, listen to me when I say there is simply no there. And for the love of God, do not listen to Goggins. I love Goggins, but please do not listen to him. Do not sacrifice the people who actually matter to you as if they were some sort of dead weight holding you back from climbing your mountain of greatness. Because the person you become on the way up is the person who arrives at the top. So you'd better make sure that person isn't lonely. I'm not saying that anyone who is pursuing exposure on their personal brand fits the picture I've been painting in this video. I'm not saying you should quit whatever it is that you are working on. All I'm saying is that you should take a really honest look at the reasons why you are pursuing what you're pursuing. Because many people will like to put forth pure reasons, not so much to convince you of those reasons, but to convince themselves. They will say they want to become a world-class musician because they love it, and that they simply need exposure as a means to that end. But all too often, it's the other way around. Their true goal is exposure, and their guitar is merely the means of acquiring it. Truth is, whether you're blindly pursuing a safe office job to fit in, or blindly pursuing fame and glory to stand out, whether you're a white sheep or a black sheep, you're still just a sheep. If you are one of those people, then sure, one day you will get what you're looking for, and that will be your punishment. Kurt Cobain killed himself at 27. What do you think he meant when he said, "I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end it doesn't even matter"? Wait, it wasn't Kurt Cobain who said that, it was Chester Bennington from Linkin Park, who also killed himself. He didn't say, "I tried so hard and failed and that's why I'm depressed." No, he got what he wanted and found it was made of air. The problem with trying to become a star is that success leaves you floating alone in space. George Sanders, an Oscar-winning actor, a star of stars, left a suicide note in which he said, "Dear world, I am leaving you because I am bored." Praise only lands when it wasn't the goal, and even then, not for long. I think what we are all really looking for is love, and praise is her evil twin that steals her identity and seduces us into bed under false pretenses, only for us to wake up and find her gone by the morning, having been nothing but a diversion. I'm aware that all of this might sound kind of doomery to those still enamored by the charms of Lady Praise, hoping for a long and fulfilling life by her side. After all, nobody wants to hear that the person they've been chasing and struggling to get is actually kind of a slut. But I promise you, praise is a stripper that you pay with time. And if telling you that the stripper doesn't love you is a doomer take, then fuck it, paint me grey. I'd much rather you find someone who does. I'd much rather you find you. Someone who your audience will never know.
Hey, oh my gosh, it's Wayne. Thank you for the raid. Hello, hello. How's everyone doing? Hope everything's been going well. Hey, Wayne Rose. What you working on? Yeah, I'm like, wait, what happened to this? Okay. I'm like trying to draw my character in specific clothing, and yeah, that's what I've been doing. Like, it's like probably my fourth attempt on trying to do so, because I realized that I forgot my anatomy, like almost half of it, and yeah, it took me quite a while to actually recover from it. And yeah, I'm also like working on my shadows, shading, and everything. Like, it's all messed up, man. Like, yeah, as you can see, like, first of all, I was working on my poses and all, but it didn't come out to be exactly as I wanted. But yeah, this is like my fourth attempt, and I'm making the one right in the middle. It exactly got the pose that I wanted for now. And right now I am, yeah, working on her clothes right now. And after giving some like details to her clothes, then I'll start working on the shading and all. Yeah, I think shading can be much better than this. But yeah, this is like my current progress. And yeah, that's it. Like, wait. Okay, shush. Okay, I forgot to actually turn off my. I actually turned on my thingy. So yeah, like it's just a drawing of my OC in a particular dress that I saw in Twitter. And I was like, oh, you know what? Let's try to make my OC in this outfit. It's probably gonna look really nice. Yeah. So yeah, that's what's going on. So, oh, by the way, do you want anything drawn in a particular outfit that you wish to be drawn? I feel like drawing some other characters now, because you can see like on the top right corner, right, my showcases of all the drawings that I've done. Most of them are like my OC. So I was like, maybe I should actually draw someone else, you know? So do you want to get drawn, Rika? Okay. Vane Rose. Like, yeah, I just want to pick someone up, you know? Some character here, some avatar, some OC. I want to draw them. Yeah, simple as that. I also want to draw like them wearing something else of their choosing, or of my choosing if they don't mention it. And even for the pose. So do you want to be drawn? Good luck on your work. Hey, thank you, thank you. What do you say? So yeah, you can ask, you can just, can I get your consent to draw your character in any clothing that you want? I think this one's, yeah, you can. Ooh, let's go. Thank you, Wayne. What about like any dress? Like, do you have any particular outfit that you saw like somewhere that you wanna be drawn in? Or, and if you have, you can tell me, or else I can draw you with the clothing of my own choice. How about that? Like, if you're okay with it. Oh yeah, by the way, you're playing NT too, right? Like saw you like playing Everness to Everness. Yeah, I uninstalled that game like 2, 3 days ago because yeah, I mean yeah, I just completed the story and there was like nothing much for me to do. It was like, just like small missions, side quests and all. And other than that, yeah, I was like, I don't want to grind this game anymore. I already play like other gacha games, and NT being on top was like, mm, I wanted to continue playing that game, but I have like already so many games in my. You play too, yeah. They, I did play. I actually completed the entire story. I was like probably like level 34 the last time before quitting. Yeah, they're very generous though. Um, Generosity. I mean, yeah, it's a new game. Of course, they gotta be generous, right? But if you haven't observed the trend after the release, they tend to, go down, right? It's like, you saw like after their launch, they gave like a ton of rewards, like enough to give you a couple of S characters, right? They don't have 50-50. Yeah, I mean, that's a thing. That's there is like a specific model around these kind of games that no longer have like 50-50, unlike the old games. But so you might think like, oh my gosh, they give enough currency for like to give a guarantee. But yeah, that's like the model. Like, even are they gonna give enough in a single patch so as to pull that character? That's the thing. So yeah, and that's how usually monetization model moves around this kind of games where it's a gacha but they don't have a 50-50. And considering this game, I mean the developers of this game that made previous games that I still play that game. I mean, I don't see a dark future, but yeah, I'll just watch others play by the sidelines. So yeah, that's like for me. Okay, I gotta go. Okay, Rika. What's going on? What's actually going on? I am so disrespectful, man. I'm really sorry for like saying something wrong again and again. I'm really sorry for that. But yay, have a good rest then. Bye bye. I'll continue my work over here. What was I doing, by the way? Yeah. Okay, so I was making like a design over here. I'm gonna draw as well. Bye. Oh, you're gonna draw too. Let's go. Let's draw together then. Mm-hmm. Wait, where's the reference over here? Wait, why do I have like two chats open? What? Okay. Yeah, okay, it's fine. Okay, what was I doing over here? Yeah. This also gonna be a drawing. That's like, wait, what? Bye bye. Yay. Thank you for the rate again, though. Yeah, really appreciate it. Oh, yeah, that reminds me. What's the status of my achievements? Like my achievements for Twitch affiliate? I don't think it exists anymore, unfortunately. uh, Content analytics. Wait, it's content analytics, right? Stream summary. Oh, wait, achievements. Minimum of 3 average views. Okay, it's 1 out of 4 though. Yeah, it's all thanks to you again. Streaming for 1000 hours total. Ooh, yes. When did this even happen though? Minimum of 3 average of 14 4 different days. I don't even remember. But it's 1 out of 4 though. I don't know how many days are left before it actually resets, but hopefully this one counts in 88 hours streamed. Concurrent between hosts and raids. Oh, hosts and raids actually help me. Okay, hosts. What do you mean by hosts? What's a Twitch hosting then? Is it a collab? I don't really know what that is. I mean, yeah, I did try collabs before, but it didn't really affect my achievement. Yeah, like everyone was like, we were in a collab, Twitch collab, then one that streamer that I collab with had like 9, and I was like, my stream had like 1, and I thought like hopefully it like adds to my average viewer thingy, but it did not happen. So yeah, that's an issue. But yeah, hopefully this one helps me with this though. Man, this is the second time you tried to help me in helping this quest over here. Yeah, I'm like really grateful. Even if like I did not achieve this achievement, but still like I really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm really thankful for everything. Wait, is that branch out like this? Yeah, something like this. Wait. I actually like it. I think I see the problem now. That is over there. I think I should change it. It do be working though. I just need to color it properly. I think this is how it's supposed to be. Okay. Thank you for giving me perspective on how this entire thing works. Yeah. And also let me choose this color over here. And since this entire thing is like shifted down, that's Okay, yeah, let's fix it. I think I fixed it. Let's go. Wait. Where the shadows also require some cleaning. Yeah, it's broken over here. I need to do some. Line art also needs to be fixed. First, let me fix my line art over here. Yeah, this should be fine. And that. I need to be careful regarding. Yeah, I think it's good enough. Let's go. Oh, wait. Yeah, this should be helpful. And also over here. Tomorrow planning. Okay. Man, when will I get my break? I don't think I'll be getting my break next month. Wait, let me check if I receive my salary. I don't think so. I really have to pay off my debts. Lamau debts. I don't even have any debts. It's just I need to pay for my rent and everything. Man, what a pathetic existence I've put myself in. Oh. Oh yeah, I was doing something regarding shadows, right? So wait, what's that? Okay. Clean the area, create a new layer on the base gray and clip it. Change blending mode to multiply. Fill in with a shade of gray, this part is light. Be sure to know the light sources. Okay. Add a new soft light layer. Paint into reflection. Soft light paint into reflection. Okay. Wait, what do you mean by that? Paint into reflection? What even is this? Is the color here? Let's click this too. Okay, yeah. So okay, paint into reflections. Wait, what? Evoke this into reflections like this. Oh wait, I like the way it looks. It's like something right. Now that I see, I think I need to like or just simply follow the reference. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, even that part over there also. Yeah, it's probably gonna be something like this. And also some shadows over here. What is this? Yeah, that's okay. So corrections is fine. Where is my okay. Improving my shadows little by little. What is bro drawing over here? Nothing. Lamau. Hmm. I think there will be more shadows. I just realized one thing. Since it's bending that way, the cloth should also like bend accordingly, right? But I have no idea how I've gonna do that. I can manipulate some shadows around there. Wait. Let him cook. Hmm. Wait, what is this? Man, I feel like playing Overwatch, but right now this is more important.
Dude, no, I'm not baiting, bro. My internet just went out, bro. I'm so serious.
Wait, should I clutch this? Should I clutch this?
Good. Maybe you're feeling different if you're feeling it. You should one.
I'm healed!
Hit me.
Watch this. Heal me, 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 heal me.
No, I'm not even kidding. In what world are you a professional?
What are you talking about, bro? What?
I'm turn. Back man.
Did he go first?
One. I've touched.
I'm dead.
I died before I died.
3v3. I got nade. Let's do it. Nade.
I'm telling you, I think just swap to this hit scan. How broken is it? I'm not swapping hit scan, bro. This roll is horrible. Jesus Christ. You want me that bad?
Yes, bro. Yes.
Alright, bro. You actually want me to get back on?
Yes, bro.
Alright, call me daddy. I'll get back on.
Daddy.
Alright, I'm getting off. Peace, bro. By the way, I've won every game up until I started playing with you. I've actually won every game until I started playing with you.
Bro,
I'm so serious. It is all green. It's legit all green.
Alright, I'm going right. 3, 2, 1.
I'm dead.
Oh, nah. Yo, I was wondering where the sword was. I was legit wondering where the sword was. I was like, yo, where? I don't see the sword. I don't see the sword.
I don't know.
Yo, I was legit wondering where the sword was.
Oh my god, get off the data. Oh my god, get off the data. No. I actually get off the data.
You're random. I see I have more damage than you. You're all random. Don't talk. Come here. I'll pick you up. Come here.
Right here. Yo, I fucking hate you, bro. Genuinely, you're horrible. Get off that.
Yo, why are they all there? What?
What are you doing? Your head low-key looks like the beads in your gun.
I will speak to you in a language you understand. Greetings. A double AJ? Is this guy serious?
Yo, I'm not above them. Go.
Hey, come on. Was that the worst Bob ever?
No.
Bro, 1,000 ping.
I actually have 125 thing right now. I just lied, by the way. Okay, what is this guy doing?
I was actually not lying. I'm actually lagging. I mean, that's just. They're gonna cat high noon. I gotta drop you. Yes. Super, come here. Ready? Wait, hit it. Yes!
Cut flank. Help me get back. Okay. I'm TPing top. Give me a bubble. You might be hammers. You actually might be hammers on Lucio.
I didn't think he was gonna hit that.
How are you Ajaxing me this year? Never play Genji again.
That Genji paid off.
Jesus Christ.
Champ won on Genji.
That's not in your
Champ won
arsenal.
on Genji. Yo, we are actually the dynamic duo. Genji Winston, we can't lose.
Yo, stop saying Genji
Yo, we
Winston.
dead ass can't lose on Genji Winston. We dead ass can't lose on Genji Winston.
Never go flex DPS.
Oh my god, am I him on Genji? Thank you.
You had 500 damage on the first one. We won the next two. You said, should I make the hero play? We instantly lose that point.
MVP.
Kill Genji. 1.
Good one.
Oh, he still won.
Oh,
nice ball. We ain't low.
What's over here?
Big freeze.
Wait, big up.
We ain't one.
Reaper in the corner. Ram in the corner.
Reaper 1.
My bad. Get up there.
We're pushing low. Do one no ult. Do one.
shit.
Look at my disgusting secret, by the way.
क्या क्या लड़ाई हो रहा है?
चीट की किया है पूरा मारपीट चल रहा है भाई, एक दूसरे को मार रहा है।
मार रहा है।
वो खिड़की के ऊपर हम देख रहे थे, एकदम टॉप फ्लोर पे, ठीक है, खिड़की के ऊपर वो सब फेंका, ताला वाला फेंका, तो खिड़की पर लग के ताला गिर गया।
गजब होगा साला।
हिंदी में बोल रहा है, समझ में आ रहा है।
एक मतलब क्या ठीक ऊपर में या फिर वो दूसरे घर में? अच्छा, अब पता भी नहीं कि लोग कौन है। अरे
Does he know who he's playing versus? Does he? It's one. Lucius one outside. Lucius one outside. Oh! Good shot.
Thanks, man.
I prefer you on junk. I can't lie.
You're actually an enemy right now.
Oh, nice.
I can't see you too.
I got you if you drop.
Can you drop? I can carry it.
PGE.
Can you grab that? I'm stunning him.
Big bubble, big bubble, big bubble.
Just card. Turn my memory left.
I know.
Oh my god, I just pressed tab. Hit me.
No range.
That's just sad.
Oh wow.
How do you get up here? Bro, no. Wait, watch this stick. Bang!
Bro, you just what happened to you, man?
You get PG rank 6. Oh my god, there's no way. There's zero chance PG's rank 6 and 7. Like, he's the only fucking. Oh my god, he's so lame. He had to have done this on purpose.
Hem. I'm hem. Don't see 9. That's all of them. No, I'm telling you, no one does it better than me.
Nano Tracer B push.
I'm down.
3, 2, enemy.
Oh, yeah, run it. Oh, I got my smoke. You know, low. You know what?
Oh, nice.
Wait, hello? PG goat?
Wait, what TP cat? Ew! I'm like that. I'm legit like that.
Holy. There's
Summer to the right.
Oh my god!
No!
Oh my god!
Oh my god.
Flame main half.
Yeah.
Bro.
You're a bot.
You need to be hitting your
You're
orb
a bot.
there.
You're a bot. I wasn't even shooting at her. Yo, you went in a straight line at her. What?
Yo, you're horrible.
Yo, what? Who's that movement?
Oh, fuck me.
No, I'm actually moving too fast, bro. I'm actually the fastest hamster alive. I can't even keep up with myself.
Can we kill him?
No. The thing is, I'm moving too quickly from the fucking shadows. 3, 2, 1, bang!
Bro, I used to use middle mouse to unmute my mic in game. And they changed
How did I not punch the Reaper there, though? What? Like, how did I not punch the Reaper there? I swear that should have hit. Alright, if Samoa got one.
Okay, you have no heals. Don't go anywhere.
What? Do you want to do it?
I mean, you shaved your ass? I'm still chasing.
That was an accident.
You know what I call it?
Yeah.
Enemy.
Number one. Shoot them, right? Holy shit.
No. Like, genuinely, how much do you want me to do on Ana? Like, oh my god.
So, do you have ult?
Yeah?
Just say the word.
Alright, I hit it. Find him.
I'm hooked.
You are the worst player ever, bro. Oh! No! I'm trying to save both bubbles.
Bro.
Yo, Liddy, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Liddy, what are you actually doing?
What are you No, I actually hate
No,
playing
here
with
we
you,
go,
bro.
here we go.
Like, get in there? No left.
Yeah, come.
Wait, why did he bomb that? Wait. Can you tell me why there's a bomb there?
Wait, where'd you die?
No.
Nah, who was I feeling like? Wait, I killed the Tracer! No, that person's 5.
Alright. Nice. And then I was like, I can't hold it anymore, and it's just everywhere.
Yo, you are horrible!
No, bro. You actually don't understand how unlucky that is, by the way. I think we're good, though. Nah, he's leading the charge? Look how short he is. Look how fucking short he is compared to everyone else.
He's not that short.
Look how short he is compared to everybody else. Oh my god.
He's not that short.
Can you do steroids? Should I? Okay. What will one cycle do? PJ, let's actually go one cycle. Let's just see what happens.
Bro, I'll be honest, bro. My balls can't get any smaller.
Okay.
I'll play. Let's go one cycle.
You're not playing, bro.
But if the doctor wishes to help a human being, he must be able to accept him as he is. And he can do this in reality only when he has already seen and accepted himself as he is. Perhaps this sounds very simple, but simple things are always the most difficult. In actual life, it requires the greatest art to be simple, and so acceptance of oneself is the essence of the moral problem and the acid test of one's whole outlook on life. that I feed the beggar, that I forgive an insult, that I love my enemy in the name of Christ, all these are undoubtedly great virtues. What I do unto the least of my brethren, that I do unto Christ. But what if I should discover that the least amongst them all, the poorest of all beggars, the most impudent of all offenders, yea, the very fiend himself, that these are within me, and that I myself stand in need of the alms of my own kindness, that I myself am the enemy who must be loved, what then? Then, as a rule, the whole truth of Christianity is reversed. There is then no more talk of love and long-suffering. We say to the brother within us, Raka, and condemn and rage against ourselves. We hide him from the world. We deny ever having met this least among the lowly in ourselves, and had it been God himself who drew near to us in this despicable form, we should have denied him 1,000 times before a single cock had crowed. Healing may be called, Jung says, a religious problem. In the sphere of social or national relations, the state of suffering may be civil war, and this state is to be cured by the Christian virtue of forgiveness and love of one's enemies.
The fight, when you got excited about your new career, when you dreamed about your future marriage, did you picture the fight? When you got excited about your new career, did you think about all the office politics? When you planned to move to that new city, did you sit down and consider everything that you would be leaving behind? Probably not. And that gap between what you imagined and what actually happened is, I would argue, the source of most of the suffering in your life. David Foster Wallace once said that the truth will set you free, but only after it's had its way with you first. So for the next 20 minutes, I'm going to have my way with you and deliver some harsh truths. So I've spent the last decade of my career writing about the psychology of our worst decisions. And these 6 truths are the ones that I keep coming back to. My name is Mark Manson. I'm the best-selling author of The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, and this is my Genius Talk. Truth number 1, everything in life is a trade-off. Now, a lot of trade-offs in life are pretty mundane. You walk into an overpriced coffee shop, you hand over your $6, and they give you a mediocre latte. There's a clear trade-off there. You give the money, they give you the latte, you move on with your life. But then there are trade-offs that aren't so clear. They're a little bit abstract, intangible, maybe a little bit long-term. For example, let's say you read a book about animal welfare and you get really excited and you decide to become a vegan. Now, in that moment, you're probably only thinking about the ethical benefits of this new lifestyle. You're not considering the fact that nobody is ever going to invite you to dinner again. Or there was a friend of mine about 10 years ago who got really into triathlons. He started waking up at 4 in the morning to ride his bike for 2 or 3 hours. He got so into it and so competitive that he was skipping out on taking his kids to school. He wasn't coming home for dinner at night. He was training so hard that he was falling asleep at 7:30. Eventually, it reached a point where his wife left him. We struggle so much not only with managing these trade-offs, but recognizing that we're making them in the first place. Our minds are not naturally built to handle them, and that's the problem, because those long-term trade-offs are the most important decisions that you and I will ever make. Now, the reason I built my entire career around this idea, the reason I keep writing about it incessantly in different ways, is that we are shockingly bad at seeing the trade-offs that matter. Nobody dreams about their future marriage and pictures the fights. Nobody gets excited about their new career and thinks about the bullshit office politics. We chase the benefits and pretend that the costs don't exist. Everything in life is a trade-off. The question is whether you're willing to see both sides of that trade-off or not. And this brings us to truth number 2. Our default is to deny that there is no trade-off. Understanding that trade-offs exist is only half of the problem, because there's a real psychological reason that we keep ignoring them. When you're weighing whether to run a triathlon, there's no spreadsheet for that. There's no clean cost-benefit analysis of what your family's gonna think or how much time you're gonna get with your kids, because the decision is so personal. It's so values-driven. It becomes emotionally overwhelming to consider all of the repercussions. And when we're emotionally overwhelmed, we fall back into our primate brain. We turn back into our animalistic selves, the monkeys. And this animalistic side of ourselves does not weigh pros and cons cleanly. It's not able to see both the good and bad of something at the same time. We default back into black and white thinking. There's no in between. Psychologists call this cognitive dissonance. When people hold contradictory feelings about something, when you feel that something is both good and bad simultaneously, it creates a stress and anxiety inside of us. And like all stress and anxiety, our natural inclination is to avoid it, to get away from it. And usually, that avoidance comes in the form of what scientists refer to as bullshit, i.e. believing some distorted perception of reality. Put simply, everything is a trade-off, therefore everything has both a positive and negative element to it. But our primate brain is terrible at feeling both positive and negative simultaneously, therefore it looks for beliefs that will justify feeling either all positive or all negative. And this detachment from the trade-offs of our decisions detaches us from reality. Think about it. The most delusional people you ever meet, what makes them seem so out of their fucking minds? It's probably that they hold some extreme positive or extreme negative view about the world that simply doesn't exist. It's not accurate. Now, we all do this. We all have a tendency to return to this default state. And fighting it takes effort. It takes cognitive energy. It takes willpower to override the animal brain with the rational one. You have to slow down. You have to sit with the discomfort, and you have to actually think through it. The more distracted you are, the more you're flooded with news and social media and noise, the less horsepower you have left to fight against your own cognitive distortions. Black and white thinking drives bad decisions. It's the root of prejudice. It's the start of wars. It keeps wars going. It makes stupid people famous. It's why truth number 2 is so important. Your mind's default setting is to deny that the trade-off exists. Truth number 3, we blame others for the downsides and take credit for the upside. Once you're trapped in that distorted reality, something even worse can start to kick in. The way you escape the discomfort of cognitive dissonance is simple. You outsource the cost to somebody else. Instead of saying, I wasn't present enough in my marriage or as a father because I was running triathlons every day, you say, man, my wife was really needy and wasn't supportive of my ambitions. In psychology, this is often called the actor-observer bias. When I run a red light, it's because I'm in a hurry and I have a really important meeting to get to. But when you run a red light, it's because you're an irresponsible psychopath who should never drive again. The comedian George Carlin nailed this once. He said, have you ever noticed that everyone driving slower than you is an idiot and everyone driving faster than you is a maniac? Somehow you're always driving the perfect speed. Just you. Only you, nobody else. Isn't it incredible how that happens? But we all have this pattern, and if left unchecked, the pattern will lead directly towards entitlement. Because if you truly believe that other people are responsible for your problems and you deserve all the good things without the downside, then you start to see yourself as uniquely special or uniquely victimized. Either way, you're deluding yourself about reality. Now, most people have entitlement backwards. They think it's something you pick up along the way. But entitlement is our default state. It's the monkey brain. It's what has to be trained out of you, not into you. Anyone who's been around small children knows this. No kid has ever said, hey mom, I want ice cream, but I'm weighing the long-term consequences and wondering if we could reach a compromise about eating my veggies tonight. No, your kid looks at you and says, I want ice cream now, and if you don't give it to them, they scream and cry and say they hate you. There's this pervading sense that entitlement is spreading in the world today, that it's growing. And it's most people's assumption to believe that we are somehow training people to be more entitled. But I would argue that's not the case, because entitlement is the default state. And it's the job of parents and teachers and leaders around the world to train entitlement out of the population. And if entitlement is growing, it's because we're failing to do that. Because that's really what parenting is. It's showing kids, no, it's not everybody else's fault. Yes, you have to be responsible for your problems and decisions, even if they weren't your fault. No, you don't deserve special treatment. yes, life is complicated and messy, and there are downsides to everything. David Foster Wallace had another quote that I think about a lot. He said, "Evil people never believe that they're evil. Instead, they believe everyone else is evil." And I think that's the end game of this whole cycle. Once you've convinced yourself that every problem in your life is somehow somebody else's fault, it's only logical that you start to see everyone else as an enemy. You can flip that around too, by the way. Good people rarely believe that they're good. Instead, they tend to see the good in everyone else. So when you meet somebody new, pay attention to how they talk about other people. If everyone else in their life is a villain, that tells you everything you need to know. That is truth number 3. In life, we tend to blame others for the downsides and take credit for the upside. Truth number 4, the enemy of growth is not oppression, but delusion. So if all of this is happening underneath the surface, how do we actually fix it? How do we grow out of this entitlement? Most people assume that if they want to grow, they need some new perspective, some new hack, some life-changing habit. And the longer I do this work, the more I think personal growth is really just one long struggle against your own bullshit. You don't need more information. You need to figure out which of your beliefs are false, which are the delusions. Because think about it, if you knew exactly what was worth doing, motivation would not be an issue. If you had a perfectly accurate view of yourself and the people around you, you'd probably stop fucking up most of your relationships. The typical self-help model will tell you, read this book, follow this framework, become a new person. There's supposed to be this like dramatic before and after moment, but that's unrealistic. And worse, it puts a ton of unhelpful pressure on you. You read the book, you try the thing, you mess up a few times, and now you feel like you failed. Or you try it and you don't love it, and you feel like something must be wrong inside of you. That whole model sets people up to simply quit. But when you approach things as an experiment, as though you're just gathering information, like, I'm gonna give up alcohol for 30 days and just see how it affects my life. You have no expectations, there's no expected identity shift. You open yourself to any possible outcome, and whether it works or doesn't work, you still gain information and you grow and become better. And that's when the trade-offs actually reveal themselves. When you discover that the benefits you thought you were getting from drinking weren't that significant, or you discover that the cost of quitting is bigger than you expected. Either way, when you remove the expectation of an outcome, you learn something either way about yourself. So here are some quick experiments you could start today. Stop talking to a friend who treats you like garbage. Give up social media for a week, see what happens. Have a difficult conversation that you've been avoiding. See how it turns out. Frame it all as a test, and then you remove the shame and pressure and judgment from expecting it to go a certain way. Because here's a little bonus truth. Nobody can tell you what's gonna work for you. Not me, not your therapist, not a book, not the best coach in the world. The only way to figure things out is to try stuff, collect data, and then adjust accordingly. The people who actually change their lives are not the ones who found the perfect system. They're the ones who ran enough experiments to figure out what they personally needed. Because truth number 4 is the enemy of growth is not oppression, it's delusion. Truth number 5, all trade-offs involve pain, but bad trade-offs create suffering. There's an old allegory from the Buddha that I find really powerful. He said getting hurt
This is a pretty recent phenomenon, and so this fact makes us unusual historically. It puts us out of step with our ancestors. It puts us out of step with nature. For reasons that will become obvious, anthropologists in the 20th century became very interested in the evolution of work. And so to answer some of their questions, they looked back to Stone Age societies. What they discovered surprised them. They found that while there were unique cultural variations all over the world, virtually all Stone Age people liked to work an average of 4 to 6 hours per day. They also found that most Stone Age people liked to work in bursts, with one fast day followed by one slow day, usually something like 8 hours of work, then 2 hours of work. 8, then 2. Fast, slow. Fast, slow. These anthropologists found another thing. Pre-capitalist and pre-industrial societies all had their own ways of measuring chunks of time. Some would measure by how long it took to accomplish a specific task, or cook a specific meal, or walk a specific distance. But the odd thing is that when you compare all of these little markers that were used by different cultures, they were all somewhere in the ballpark of 30 minutes. It seems that in a world without clocks, or phones, or sundials, measuring the day in 30-minute chunks just feels good and natural to humans. Very few societies ever felt the need to break the day into smaller chunks than that. It's hard to go much deeper than that from archaeological evidence alone, but there are other pre-capitalist and pre-industrial societies that we can look back to help us. There are excellent surviving records from medieval Europe that delve into this issue, so let's start there. For virtually all of human history, most work has been agricultural work. This was also true of medieval Europe. So when thinking about medieval workers, we shouldn't be thinking about cities. We should be thinking about workers in fields. For the first hour or so of the medieval workday, people would just trickle in at their own pace. The employer was usually expected to provide some food to the workers. So for this time, people usually had a chat and a bite to eat, but otherwise did nothing. As you can imagine, convincing people to get up and start their work for the day was often quite difficult. Employers complained about it all the time. After a couple of hours in the field, there would usually be a mid-morning break that could range from 30 to 60 minutes, where workers would have another bite to eat. When the sun was high in the sky and the day was starting to get hot, work would stop again for an extended period of time. Something like 2, maybe even 3 hours, depending on how hot it was that day. This period would begin with a larger midday meal that would be recognizable to us as lunch, and was followed up by, this is not a joke, nap time. In medieval Europe, siestas weren't just a Spanish thing, they were an everywhere thing. After returning to work, refreshed and rejuvenated, workers would intensify the pace of their work in an effort to finish everything up for the day. If they were done by the mid-afternoon, they could go home. If they weren't, they would break for another 30 to 60 minutes, with more food provided, before going back in for one last sprint. Most of the time, workers didn't have to stay much later than this, but if it was harvest season and people were working late, there would often be a larger break in the evening with a larger meal provided by the employer, but this was rare. Workers might be in the field for like 8 hours a day, but when you account for all of the breaks, they would only be working for 4 to 6 of those hours. During the busiest times of year, they might be in the fields for like 12 hours a day, but with the breaks, they would only be working for 7 to 9 of those hours. Notice the numbers we're playing with here. Stone Age peoples all over the world and agricultural workers in medieval Europe both liked to work 4 to 6 hours a day, even though each group had no knowledge or memory of each other. It seems that this is just a natural pattern that humans like. Medieval workers would work longer during the harvest or during a crisis, but they didn't like to, and that's the point. Also notice the length of these breaks. Medieval workers measured the days in 30-minute chunks, just like their Stone Age ancestors. What else sticks out in the medieval workday? Notice how the workers were constantly eating. This was one of the perks of being a day laborer. Food was a worker's biggest expense, and so part of their compensation was that their employer would take care of the food for that day. It would be like if part of your compensation was that your boss paid your rent. It relieved a massive financial burden. One other thing to note was that work was generally understood to be a thing that happened during the day, and although there wasn't an exact science to this, a workday was broadly understood to be half of daylight hours. If there was an urgent need for people to literally work from sunrise to sunset, there was kind of a gentleman's agreement that this would count as 2 days of labor. What can we take away from all this? Work used to be a lot more informal and a lot more casual. Labor and leisure used to be intermingled. One was expected to relax and even nap on the job. Work was a part of a worker's life. Kicking back and passing the time wasn't just something workers did at home, it was equally something they did at work. Unless there was some sort of unusual crisis, workers were not expected to experience great stress while working. The week always began at a leisurely pace. Monday and Tuesday are described as days with a holiday spirit. Employers write of their difficulty in getting people to even show up. Thursday and Friday are described as fast days. Mondays and Tuesdays were slow, Thursdays and Fridays were fast, an echo of the Stone Age pattern of working. Fast, slow, fast, slow. Saturday was payday, and so it functioned as a hurry up and finish everything so that we can get the hell out of here day. It seems that under normal circumstances, Saturday was kind of a half day, although during busy seasons it could easily turn into another fast day, like Thursday and Friday. After the week's work was done and everybody got paid, workers got a full day off on Sunday. But by the 16th and 17th centuries, a new custom invented by workers disrupted this pattern. They called it Saint Monday. Saint Monday was kind of an unofficial holiday, where absenteeism was permitted and even expected on the first day of the work week. People were still flush with cash from last Saturday, and Monday was a slow day anyways, so it just organically became a thing that workers just didn't show up. Employers learned to tolerate it, and workers gleefully looked forward to it. Countless labor actions in early modern Europe can be traced back to some dumbass boss with something to prove, trying to crack down on their beloved Saint Monday. This was the real origin of the two-day weekend. It didn't come from government. It came from workers. They just did it themselves, and it came centuries before any legislature got around to making it official. But leaving aside Saint Monday, it's striking how different the mentality of medieval workers was from the mentality of workers today. Or let's flip that around. It's striking how different our mentality is today from that of our ancestors, going back hundreds, even thousands of years. Here's one specific example of that difference. Whenever medieval workers could afford to stop working, they did. Medieval Europe was not a culture in which people saved a lot of money. This isn't because they were primitive or selfish or anything like that. There just wasn't that much for poor people to spend their money on. Food, housing, clothing, that was pretty much it. If a worker was all set in those three categories, there honestly wasn't that much else available to them. This led to a phenomenon in medieval Europe where, after all of a worker's basic needs were met, the more they earned, the less they worked. To put it another way, medieval workers liked to spend most of their discretionary income on leisure. This isn't such a strange phenomenon. If you survey people today and offer them a choice between more money and more time off, most people would take more time off. It's just that under our system, people are never offered that choice. Or when they try to exercise that choice for themselves, they are either professionally punished or fired. In medieval Europe, people could make that choice for themselves. And whenever possible, workers worked less. A lot less. There were three major holiday periods where workers routinely took a big chunk of time off: Easter, Midsummer, and Christmas. Or for the uninitiated, March or April, late June, and late December. I would note that of the three, only the December holiday period made it into the modern era intact. Things really slowed down in the winter. Days were short, and the work was short. Because of this, a tradition evolved called winter wages, where workers were paid half a day's wage for half a day's work. We're talking about a 4-hour workday at the very most. If you add in all the breaks, this would be maybe 2 to 3 hours of actual work. Winter wages were usually done for the months of December and January, and during this time, people took as much time off as they could afford. Workers spent their extra time on indoor labor that might not generate a profit. Home repairs, building new furniture, patching up or making new clothing, these were jobs best saved for the slow winter months. When you total up the estimated number of days worked by medieval farm laborers, things become quite stark. Researchers have found that Spanish farm laborers did not work for 42% of days in a year. In France, the number was more like 49%. The English usually worked more, but this wasn't because they were naturally more industrious. It's because they were historically more exploited by their aristocracy. When there was a labor shortage in the 14th century, English laborers immediately used their clout to create more time off for themselves. For a time, English workers enjoyed 51% of days free from work. The funny thing about these numbers, 42%, 49%, 51%, is that once again, they echo how people worked in Stone Age societies. Almost every other day off. Fast, slow, fast, slow. Labor historian E.P. Thompson describes this work pattern as a natural human rhythm and a common preference in people across different regions, different cultures, and different times. For a point of comparison, consider a modern worker working 5 days a week. In a calendar year, that worker has 28% of days off. Add in the 10 or so public holidays that most countries have, and that worker now has 31% of days off. Add in 2 weeks of vacation, and that worker now has 34% of days off. Assume instead that they get 6 weeks of vacation, and that worker has 39% of days off. In order for a modern worker to even begin to rival the amount of time off enjoyed by a medieval French farm laborer, that modern worker would need to be provided with 3.5 months of vacation per year, plus weekends, plus public holidays. Medieval workers were operating on a level so far beyond us that it's difficult to even dream that big. Up until the modern era, workers were paid by the day. The length of the workday could fluctuate throughout the year, but even during the busiest periods, workers might be in the fields for 12 hours at most. But as I've said, if you take into account all of the breaks and meal times and nap times, that might translate into 8 hours of actual work. And that was on the busy end of the spectrum. At other times, a shortened workday would often lead to less than 4 hours of actual work. That all began to change with the proliferation of mechanical clocks. Cities and towns began building clock towers in their town squares in the late 14th and early 15th centuries. And before too long, churches and, yes, even some private businesses were inspired to have mechanical clocks of their own. Arguably, the most important clock ever built was installed at the Amsterdam Stock Exchange in 1611. The Netherlands were at the epicenter of this new capitalism fad that was sweeping Europe, and
Oh my gosh, it's Puff!
reflected that.
Hello, Puff. Hello, hello, how are you doing, Puff? You're still awake though? I thought you usually go to sleep early, you know? So what is going on, Puff? How are you doing? Hope everything's going well. Yay. Wait, what is this? Was doing work. Ooh. What kind of work? Was it homework? Or was it some other work? Wait, what is this? Bro. Hmm. Maintenance. I see. I see. Okay, so hope you're taking good breaks though. Hopefully your work is done. Yeah, I think you should like go to sleep now. You know, there's no better feeling than a good sleep after a lot of work. Yeah, you should definitely do that. Mm-hmm. Okay, so where was I? Oh yeah, I was. Something like this. Let's see. Like two shadows a bit more. So it's good enough. Yeah, I did like shadows. Yeah, I think at this point I should like darken it. So the saturation is a little bit. My shadows should be a little darker now. So easily multiply, yeah. Dark. Yeah, I think this is good enough. Or maybe not. I think darker shadows are fine. Hey, Bean. Wait. Is she there yet? No, I don't think so. She's here. It's completely fine.
Tried to curb the capitalist fervor taking over their country by restricting.
Oh, wait, let me take this out over here.
Piece of chalk drilled out. There is a rock sitting on Mars right now. It's inside a sealed metal tube about the size of a piece of chalk, drilled out of a stone the team named Cheva Falls in the summer of 2024. The rock has small dark markings in it. The people who found them call them poppy seeds and leopard spots. On Earth, patterns like that would be a textbook signature of microbial life. Last September, after a year of careful review, NASA's official position became that the sample contains what they call a potential biosignature. They're extremely careful with the word potential. Nobody's saying life. Not yet. But the tube is still there. It's sitting on the surface of a planet that died roughly 3.5 billion years ago, and the earliest we might get it home is somewhere in the late 2030s. Tonight, we're going to talk about that rock. But not only about that rock, because Mars isn't the only dead world. It may not even be a rare one. What we're doing tonight is sitting with a question that doesn't get asked very often, because it makes people uncomfortable. The universe, as far as we can currently see it, contains a confirmed inventory of just over 6,000 worlds beyond our solar system, and a credible estimate of hundreds of billions more in our galaxy alone. The natural assumption is that some fraction of those should be alive. Someone should be home. But the more we learn about what it actually takes to keep a world habitable, the more it starts to look like the real story isn't about life starting, it's about life lasting. By the end of tonight, you're going to see the night sky a little differently. Not as a place that's empty, as a place that might be very, very full of something quieter than we expected. Something that already happened, something that ended. Here's where most people get the universe wrong. When they think about whether anyone is out there, they imagine two doors. Door 1, the cosmos is teeming with company and we just haven't run into them yet. Door 2, the cosmos is empty and we're alone here, and that's just how it is. Those are the two answers people argue about. There's a third door, and that's the one we're walking through tonight. It's the possibility that the universe isn't empty at all. It's the possibility that it's full of worlds, where the conditions for life arrived and then left. Worlds where life may have started and then stopped. Worlds with the lights still on and nobody home. Before we go further into this, if you're finding yourself
done pretty well, like you did well in school, you understand things more easily when other people struggle with it, then it probably means that you are a deep thinker. And when it comes to learning, this is actually quite rare. Based on my own surveys and the data that I've collected from tens of thousands of learners, less than 10% of the population is a naturally deep thinker. And these are usually the people that are in that top band of performance. So if you're going through school and you were in the sort of top band, you know, maybe not the smartest person, but you know, you're generally better than your average, and you were able to get through school and uni without really trying that hard, then there's a decent chance that you are one of these natural deep thinkers. But one of the really common things that happens with deep thinkers, especially when it comes to learning, is that they peak. They peak early, and so over time, like after university, going into life, or for some people as they are going through university, it's harder and harder to stay at that top band. And you get to this place where you know that you're a capable, intelligent person, but for some reason, you are not really getting the types of results in the performance that you would have expected yourself to be getting. And it's not for lack of effort. You're studying and you're putting in the hours, but still, it's not really enough. So what happened? Are you just not that smart? Did you get less intelligent over time? Did you truly just peak too early? The reality is probably you're facing something that I call deep processing tanking. I see this pretty much universally across all of my natural deep thinkers. And if that is happening, then there's something that you can do about it that unlocks those bottlenecks and allows you to be that natural top performer all over again. So first I'm going to tell you what deep processing tanking is, and then how you can figure out if it applies to you, and if it does apply.
Unnecessary. What is this? Wait, what is this?
It is the 41st millennium. For more than 100 centuries, the Emperor has sat immobile on the golden throne of Earth.
Golden Throne of Earth? Are they talking about Terra? Oh, the Eldar.
The power of technology and science. For so much has been forgotten, never to be relearned. Forget the promise of progress and understanding. For in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. No peace amongst the stars. Only an eternity of carnage and slaughter. And the laughter of thirsting gods. But the universe is a big place, and whatever happens, you will not be missed.
New edition begins with what release this summer? Armageddon new edition launch. Wait, what are you dropping though? Armageddon. Oh, are they talking about the game or something? I'm not so sure.
It's over. It's done. I am releasing a project I've been working on for myself today called Odysseus. Google. I don't have tissues, but I have baby wipes. No more schmoogling. Adobe? More like, do not be no. No, that's not right. I do be thinking you. Fuck! You get the point! Stupid Adobe. Odysseus is my response. It is out. It is free. No tracking. No subscriptions. No funny business. It's yours and yours forever. Okay? Pinky promise. The best way I can describe it is that Odysseus is an AI workspace. Doesn't sound interesting? Fine. But let me explain. Basically, it's Claude and ChatGPT's web UI, but self-hosted. So you get access to all of it, but better. Because let one thing be crystal clear, okay? Hate everything in this project. All of it. If it could go away forever and I had the power to, I would not hesitate. We live in a world that, you know what, it doesn't matter. We live in the world. I'll end there. The best way I can describe this is to explain how it came to be. When I
Ready is a self-hosted interface for talking to language models. Ooh. When Apple started as an AI chat, became a workspace. Each piece runs locally against whatever endpoints you point it at. Ooh. Multi-turn chat plus autonomous agent that calls. Compare deep research. Oh, ship issues. Wait, what?
started self-hosting,
Bro, that's actually crazy, man. Okay, this is done. So what am I supposed to do now?
For pastel-based colors, the shadows get more saturated, but for bright accent colors, the shadow actually get less saturated. This tiny switch makes the whole palette feel balanced and easy to control, until you try it. Keeping shadows clean across 10 layers, picking colors for each one, especially when you're not even sure which lighting setup works best. That's way too exhausting. And they call this a simple style, huh? Sure. Here is a simpler trick Kuna uses. Instead of shading layer by layer, he just drops a multiply layer over the whole character, then puts another one on top for light. And that's actually really smart, not just because you're working on one layer. The real trick is that drawing light is so much easier, way easier than drawing shadow. You should try it. Of course, it gets even easier when you plan your illustration first. That's why I built my universal art planner inside the free adapt kit. Grab it in the description. So why is cell shading so important before you can draw complex illustrations like Ask or Magoon? Look at Magoon's process. He starts with balanced, harmonious-based colors, then adds a single sharp shadow on each area. Where Kuna keeps things simple with multiply tricks, Magoon draws with clean, hand-picked colors because he planned it first. This could already look finished. What's incredible is that for Magoon, it's only about 20% look so important before you plan your illustration drawing shadow. You should try it. Of course, it gets even easier when you plan your illustration first. That's why I built my universal art planner inside the free adapt kit. Grab it in the description. So why is cell shading so important before you can draw complex illustrations like Ask or Magoon? Look at Magoon's process. He starts with balanced, harmonious-based colors, then adds a single sharp shadow on each area. Where Kuna keeps things simple with multiply tricks, Magoon draws with clean, hand-picked colors because he planned it first. This could already look finished. What's incredible is that for Magoon, it's only about 20% of the work. He breaks his time down like this. About 15% goes into sketch and liner, another 20% into cell shading, and the other 65% for polishing and details. Without this 20%, it's impossible to complete the whole illustration. He refines the illustration step by step, using textured brushes, sometimes adding a gradient to the shadows. And that's the secret that helped him finish 100 illustrations in 100 days. No matter how detailed the art gets or what tricks they use, every top anime artist starts from the same foundation: cell shading. It's the core of understanding color and light, and it's what lets you push your art to any level of complexity. And the wildest effects come when artists like Ray17 break cell shading rules completely. In the next video, I'll show you how she turns simple shadows into holographic light. 65% draws with cell shading so important before you can draw complex illustrations like Ask or Magoon. Look at Magoon's process. He starts with balanced, harmonious-based colors, then adds a single sharp shadow on each area. Where Kuna keeps things simple with multiply tricks, Magoon draws with clean, hand-picked colors because he planned it first. This could already look finished. What's incredible is that for Magoon, it's only about 20% of the work. He breaks his time down like this. About 15% goes into sketch and liner, another 20% into cell shading, and the other 65% for polishing and details. Without this 20%, it's impossible to complete the whole illustration. He refines the illustration step by step, using textured brushes, sometimes adding a gradient to the shadows. And that's the secret that helped him finish 100 illustrations in 100 days. No matter how detailed the art gets or what tricks they use, every top anime artist starts from the same foundation: cell shading. It's the core of understanding color and light, and it's what lets you push your art to any level of complexity. And the wildest effects come when artists like Ray17 break cell shading rules completely. In the next video, I'll show you how she turns simple shadows into holographic light.
It gets brighter the more we go that side. What? What is even going on right now? Okay, I think I need to like watch a lot of art tutorials. That's not good. Yeah, there is no drops remaining right now. Let's cancel this. I have a set like what's the line up and whatever. Do something regarding this duplicate here. So just created it off the filter corrections and just like it. Yeah, it's good enough. Now everyday art light. Oh wait. Okay, what is that? Multiplayer issue, I see. Oh my gosh. Stabilization is too high. Hi. Really difficult. Yeah, I think I gotta check out a tutorial on how to do this thing, man. I forgot everything. That's actually insane that I forgot how to draw. Wait. I did not do this one thing that I was supposed to do for my hair. I have added highlights, but I did not. That's really rude of me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna name it highlights, and what's it gonna be? Add, right? Add or add globe. Yeah, let's try it. Add globe something. Okay, this is already set, and yeah, there's no pen pressure or anything, but yeah, I think adjusting the pen pressure would be really nice. And now let's start with wait. I did change the color first, and then there's something like this. Oh, that's actually adorable. Eyes look really nice when I add some life to it. Okay, as for that, now I need to add like what am I supposed to add though? Temperature is not necessary. Brush density, increase it. Yep. Oh. No, that's not how it's supposed to be, right? Something like this. Yeah, okay, that's a little too bright in my opinion, so let me decrease the... Yeah, it's gonna be something like this. Oh yeah, follow it. Yeah, something like this. Please correct yourself. Actually, yeah, that's better. Okay, this is done. So I guess that's how it's supposed to be. So what's next is I do okay, I need calculation for this. Add like a little bit of strands and all. Yeah. Maybe like this. Okay, and yes, let's be like that. Like this. Be cutting off that area. Yeah, that's good to happen. Disconnect them completely, especially in this area over here. This way, yeah. And what's going on? Why people are bursting crackers outside at this time? Like, what the hell? Ah, come on. Okay, this one's done over here. Now, you know what? Let me just we're adding highlights is this easy. Oh. Okay, cut parts. Yeah, something like this. Let's cut it such a way that they're like completely distinct from each other. Yeah, maybe that's the flow that I should be using. Okay, shoot, I forgot to actually wash my clothes. No way. No freaking way. You know what? You know what? I have to end my stream soon, but right now. Yeah, at some point it's gonna be like 3.0, you know. It is nice. Okay. What even is that? Okay, properly. At the very least. Okay. Okay, not bad, not bad. Okay, I need to take this and change the color a little bit. Yeah. Let me select this one, right? Yeah. No. This one over here. Why did the teenage not select it? Okay, what? Won't help that much, but size increase, hardness, this much, and I know what I'm trying to do. Hmm. Okay, should I- Just like this. Why does my color look so burnt though? Hmm. Okay, let's be better. This one that I need. A lot of work can still be done, but I don't know what I'm supposed to do right now. You know what? I'm gonna end my stream now. Yeah, I have to like go wash my clothes. It's like freaking wet down there. So yeah, thank you for joining everyone. Thank you, Vane Rose, for the raid. Really, really appreciate it. You're the sweetest. Pat pat. Hey, let's see tomorrow then. Bye bye.